Hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And another Halloween card with purple. Been in a bit of a purple mood lately, and this one just evolved into that. You guys all know, if you've watched my videos, I like florals. The bigger the florals, the better. And for Halloween, I love mixing like florals with Halloween things, just mixing it up. And for this card, I pretty much used all non-Halloween supplies other than the little sentiment strips, because I know a lot of people aren't into Halloween. I get it. It's not for everyone. And yeah, for a lot of people, they don't want to buy Halloween supplies. I get that too. But a fun way to kind of mix it up is just use what you've got, and then you can get, like, Simon Says Stamp has a bunch of those little like pre-printed sentiment strip packs that I've used tons. And there's tons to choose from of a bajillion different genres, but Halloween ones obviously are what I like to like mix and match with a bunch of my cards. So that was the only specific Halloween thing I used, was a sentiment strip, but I went really dark and moody with this. I had the hardest time taking decent photos because I did a black card base. There's a lot of black on this card and not my forte to take pictures of, but I had a lot of fun making it. So yeah, I will have a link to my Halloween 2023 series playlist at the end of this video. I will also, throughout the video, I think I'll be able to find the links to the other videos I've done. I'm not sure how many I've done using specifically. It's the Simon Says Stamp Black Eyed Susan's stamp set. One of my favorites. Big florals. I love it. And yeah, so I'll link to the other videos I did. Hopefully those are usually in the corner. When the little eye pops up, I link to, other videos and whatnot. And yeah, keep watching and I will show you guys how I made this card. Yeah, my photos definitely don't do it justice, but like I said, I struggle taking photos regardless, especially when the card is like dark. But the card itself. I started with the background and I took a panel of black cardstock and I lightly misted it with water. And doing my go-to thing with Simon's embossing folders. This one is the River Damask embossing folder. This came out a couple years ago, I think. I had it in my like Halloween stash because for what it has like a spooky vibe to me anyway. And yeah, lightly misted the cardstock. That just softens the paper fibers so that it embosses better. And for Simon's 3D embossing folders, I use my Spellbinders Platinum 6, the original platform, and I have 2 metal shims and Perfection. So I emboss the background, and you could leave it like that because it's just gorgeous, but I wanted to enhance it. So I took some Lunar paste. This is Crown Me is the name of the color. It's just purple Lunar paste. Although applying it over black, it's got like a blue reflect as well, which I was like, oh, well, that's just fabulous. Love it. And I just applied it with my finger. You could use a sponge. It's fine. But there's also just something satisfying about applying things with your fingers. So I would get a little bit of the Lunar paste onto my finger. I was tapping it off on the inside of the lid so I don't have like blobs of it. And then just lightly rubbing on all the raised edges. And this dries super, super quick. You could use all sorts of different pastes for this. And applying them really thin like this, it pretty much dries almost immediately. So I just quickly, went along quickly, but also this is, sped up in editing, but again, it didn't take very long. And rubbed it onto this background and then put the lid back on my paste. People keep asking with the Lunar paste, like, why I don't have press and seal on them. Honestly, it's just because I haven't got around to it yet. But so far, so good with them. I've had them for a couple months now, at least, and they've been fine. Anyway, did that with the background, wiped off my finger. Life was good. Now on to the actual florals. So I am planning on using my Caron Brush Marker Pros, which means I'm using Strathmore watercolor paper. I have tried those markers with several different types of watercolor paper, and the one that works my absolute favoritist and best is Strathmore for whatever reason. the Karen Brush Marker Pros just move on this paper really nicely, whereas all the other watercolor papers I've experimented with, if you scribble the color directly from the marker onto the other watercolor papers, I find that sometimes they'll move, sometimes they won't. A lot of times they'll just soak in, you know, and then you can't really pull the color out, and it's frustrating. But the perfect match, Strathmore watercolor paper and these markers, it just works. So I put the watercolor paper in my MISTI and used my anti-static powder tool that just keeps the embossing powder from clinging where I don't want it. Inked up and stamped the image with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Stamped it a couple times to get all the detail. And then I used clear embossing powder and I'm heat embossing it. You do not have to do this. I've talked about this a lot though. I like heat embossing my images before I watercolor them. They're like bumper pads. Having the raised edges just keeps things, you know, a little more contained. And even with the heat embossing, I still manage to make a mess, and you'll see that as I'm like coloring, because I get my hands in it. I'm like the sides of my hands in it, and I was smearing things, and it just happens, honestly, and it wasn't a big deal. But I like the raised edges. So right now, this is real time. I'm going to speed this up. This didn't take very long since it was just very few colors. Really, I'm using a purple, a black, a brown, and a green. That is it. So specifically, violet blue, Karen Brush Marker Pro, black, sepia, and olive green. That's it. Just 4 markers. And then my little Tim Holtz Detail water brush, which is just another favorite when I'm using these markers. I don't exactly know why. It's just, they just go together in my mind. But you could use just a paintbrush dipped in water. That works great too. And you'd actually have a bit more control if you use a paintbrush dipped in water. But I like using my little water brush. So to go with this dark, moody theme I had for this card, for the petals, I did them in the violet blue and black. I kept the black towards the centers and then the purple on the edges, and then just pulled them together and kind of mixed them together with the water brush. And yeah, it was, I don't know. It's kind of similar to what I've been doing in recent videos, like using like black soot distress ink, which also will make an appearance later in this video. You know, blending that onto die cuts and florals and things to, again, give it just that moody depth. Same kind of theme going on here. So that's also a great way that you can mix things up, but also, yeah, if you're wanting to do like more of a Halloween sort of a thing, yeah, take any standard floral, really, color it, add a little bit of black, you know. One, you can just use that for just your basic shading, that it works. You just add a little bit, and less than you think, depending on the product, but especially with the Karen Brush Marker Pros, because these are pretty potent, and especially the black, you need less of it than you think. So I did the same thing with the flower centers. That was the sepia, added a bit of black. And then for all the greenery, it was the olive green and black. And that I really liked, especially as it dried. It just, I don't know, it just worked, and I enjoyed it. And I was like, now I need to do this more often. So I went through and yeah, the amount of times I got my hand like onto the purple and I was smearing it everywhere, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to die cut this with the coordinating wafer die. So personally, I was annoyed with myself, and then it's like, it's, you know, I'm like, I got like fingerprints and handprints all over this, but I'm like, it's fine. You're not going to see it in the end because I'm going to die cut it, and I'm also going to color the outline, which I'll get to in a second. So I just went along, filled in all the greenery, just scribbled with the markers, pulled it out with a water brush, and then let this all dry, which didn't take very long because I didn't really use a whole lot of water. And then I used the coordinating wafer die to die cut this. So got that lined up and then taped it into place with washi tape so that the die doesn't shift when I run it through my die cut machine. And then after it was die cut, I decided to color the outline. I don't do this very often. In fact, hardly ever. I personally, it does not bother me at all when my die cuts have a white outline. I know some people really don't like it, and I get it. It doesn't bother me. However, for this card, because I'm gonna, I have a black background, and I was really going for just that dark, moody look. I was like, no, this is one of the times where I want to color the outline. Now, caveat to that, 2 rules are being sort of broken here. I'm using an alcohol marker. This is a Copic marker, just the 110 Special Black. Black would work too. I've talked about this. With heat embossing, I do not recommend using alcohol-based markers with heat embossed images. There is something in alcohol markers that does not play well with melted embossing powder. It literally like reacts, and the makeup of the alcohol marker like eats embossing powder. It's weird, and you can over time wreck your markers. So I don't recommend it. So saying that, I still did it here. However, I wasn't like coloring onto the heat emboss. Like I was going right up to the edge, so I'm not too concerned. And also this is my black marker, which I almost never use. So I wasn't also concerned about that, but there's, reasons to the madness. So that's why I sort of broke my own rule, but also not really. The second rule is I do not recommend alcohol markers with watercolor paper. And the only reason for that is if you were to color with your alcohol markers on watercolor paper, you'll get great results, but your markers will go dry very, very quickly because the watercolor paper will just like suck up everything out of the marker because that's the nature of watercolor paper. But again, I was fine with it for this because I was using it just for the edges. I wasn't using it to color the entire image, that sort of a thing. So rules are there for good reasons, hence me explaining them. Rules are also meant to be broken, for the most part. Or at least, like I was saying, do as I say, not as I do. So after I had edged all of that, and I was glad I did, I wasn't sure, because I was like, oh, is it going to, ruin it? But I was like, oh, yeah, no, I like it. I'm liking it. Just moody. So, sentiments. I went with my little reverse spooky salutations sentiment strips, trimmed the ones down that I wanted, and then edged those with that black marker as well to make it all look crisp and finished and all the things. That said, you could skip the Halloween sentiments completely and just make a dark, moody sort of card, and it could, for the most part, be any occasion. It's elegant. I like it. I need to do more of this. Like I like my bright colors. I love the rainbow, everything, all that stuff. But I don't know. I think it's bringing out my secret inner goth. Who knows? Anyway, I took a panel of white cardstock and I stamped the floral onto that with Simon's Heather ink, just a light purple. I trimmed it down a bit because this is going to go on the inside of the card. So I need somewhere to write something, I could have left the inside black. That's fine too. I've talked about this. You can use like a gel pen, when you write to the recipient, that works. But I had just this whole idea in mind. So I stamped it with that lighter ink. And then I took Iris ink, which is darker, and lightly blended that around the perimeter of this panel. So it just kind of gives it a little something. And then I brought in Black Soot Distress ink. And again, just a light little blending. Just, again, bring in that moodiness. So things like this, because people always ask, where will you write on the inside of the card? Because, you've stamped things, etc. I will write right over it. I don't care. The inside is just extra. I still like to make it pretty and add things and stamp or die cuts or whatever. But it's all with the intention of it being written over. That's the whole point, and I'm fine with it. So after I was done my bit of blending, I took that background I did at the beginning and I trimmed that down a bit as well. So it's like 4 by 5 1/4, just slightly smaller than my card base, which is black cardstock. So it'll be a top folding A2 card, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I'm going to adhere that embossed background to the card front. And man, this background and that lunar paste, just chef's kiss. Seriously, it's like I honestly, it was like, this is the card. This is it. Just this. Like, I don't know. It just, something about it. So adhered that first, and then I adhered the panel to the inside of the card. And then I adhered one of the sentiment strips to the inside as well. So yeah, it's the most frightful time of the year. It works for just a fun little Halloween card, but again, you could totally make this just sort of an any occasion sort of card. So adhered that, and then to adhere the florals, I used my Waffle Flower black foam strips, the thinner ones, and just stuck them all over the back of this. Another option would be to like just die cut some large scraps of black cardstock. You could adhere those together, but I personally like using like the foam strips like this because adhering on top of cardstock that's been 3D embossed like this, the foam tape sticks better. You know, it kind of gets into the crevices when you press it down, and it's good to go. So it gives it a bit of dimension, but it also adheres this really well on top of all that texture. So I got that adhered into place. And then my sentiment strip, same thing. I put a piece of that same Waffle Flower foam tape on the back of it. And then I used my T-square ruler to help me get this straight, because some days I'm good, other days it's like, yeah, no. And with this, you only get one shot, because once the adhesive is touching like watercolor paper like this, it ain't moving. So got that adhered into place. And then as my final little bit of embellishment, and I did think about splatter. I thought about it a lot, but I decided not to. All the gold splatter on this would have looked amazing. It really would have. But I wanted it to just all be just dark and moody. That is what I was, and I wasn't in a bad mood. I mentioned that in a previous video. I was in kind of a bad mood when I was creating, and just like the dark and moodiness just appealed to me. I wasn't in a bad mood when I made this. This was just what I was going for. Anyway, I used Trinity Stamps Melanite Magic Rhinestones. These are very pretty. The core of them is like a smoky gray color, and then they have this like purpley aqua iridescent coating. I don't even know how to explain it, but you can see it a little bit better when the light picks them up. They're pretty. They're so pretty, and they were perfect, you know? So I just sprinkled those throughout this card, adhered them into place with craft tacky glue, and called it a day. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, I will have a link to the Halloween playlist at the end of this video. I will also have a link below the video to my blog post where I'll have the pictures, my excuse for pictures, picture links, all the supplies, all the fun things. I'll have the supply list linked directly below as well, so you guys can check that out below if you are interested. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.